welcome to the show. I'm so happy you're here.
I am so privileged to be here. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, why don't we start off? Just tell us a little bit about your journey as an entrepreneur. How did you get started? How did you end up where you are today?
I started, when I really thought about this question, I started in a multi-level marketing company in my early 20s and have been in some way, shape, or form doing that ever since, being an entrepreneur. When I really thought back on it, I thought, holy cow, I've been doing this, well over half my life, period. I was in direct sales for 17 years and built a great organization, raised 2 kids, private school, built a dream house, all kinds of the things that you do. And then my company closed and I had to figure out something new. That same year, I just took some time to start figuring out what I wanted to do. And I've always been a coach, a mentor, a teacher in some way, shape, or form. And so finally, I was just like, why am I not like really doing this? Why am I not making this my passion to coach women full time? And so then that happened. Then I decided to do that, and it's brought us here to today, and having a full-time coaching business for female entrepreneurs to support them and take them to their next revenue levels and health levels and just amazing lives.
How exciting is that? And it's so funny how similar our stories are, because I started network marketing in my early 20s. The company restructured and I had to figure out something else. So funny. Okay, so talk to us. What's been your biggest struggle in your business and how did you overcome that?
I think that I was working a daytime job. So when my company closed, I was like, okay, it's time to pivot. And I was ready for a break from being an entrepreneur for a little bit, I thought. And so I started working for someone else. And then I learned so many things. I went into an industry that I had never been in before. And it was an amazing time. And then I started to get the itch. I'm like, this has been really amazing. But so my biggest obstacle was having this full-time job, during the day and not being able to completely pour myself into my business. My clients were getting 100% of me, but then I was burning the candle at both ends, and that was an obstacle for me. I didn't want to be, like in scripture, can't be double-minded, right? So I really wanted to be super focused on the one thing and the one passion that really lit me up so I could be 100% there. And the breakthrough in that, the aha, I was at a continuing ed for health coaching. And it's where a bunch of coaches come together and we learn these amazing, ninja coaching techniques, so to speak. And I was with another coach and we did a sequence of coaching on making a big decision. And my decision was, do I do both? Or do I leave this very stable, very, good paying job kind of a thing and do it again? Like, create a business and be in charge of everything. And through this series of questions and walking into the staying in both was so heavy. And so just like, I know you're a huge Tony Robbins fan. And when he does the whole state thing, like the state, when you can be in the state of, like that. And then when I stepped into this, the state was so light and open. I'm like, well, this is so clear. There's no decision to make. That was my breakthrough. It was like, I don't know what I'm waiting for. Let's do it. Like what, leap and the net will appear kind of thing.
Amazing. Tony also says you have to burn your boats if you want to take the island. And so that was kind of you burning your boats. Was it scary? Did you have like a safety net or anything? Or did you just like kind of go for it and then make it happen?
It was scary. And you have told me before, because in all transparency, Rachel is my coach and mentor and friend. And you have said, if your dreams and goals don't make you want to throw up at least a little bit, they're not big enough, right? And so when I made that decision, while it was so light and so amazing, a little tiny part of me was like, oh, I think I want to throw up. Yeah. So it was scary. I did not have a safety net. I set a date for myself. I said, I'm going to do like 6 months from today. That's going to be the day, like boom. And that was the day. And so many people are like, oh, so you completely replaced your other income. Nope. I just started, working my business, and I trust that it's just going to keep coming, And so, yeah, it's still, anytime you're an entrepreneur, there's no guarantees, and isn't that part of it? Like, isn't that part of the, the passion for it? Like, we're going to do this. This is going to happen.
You are like a true entrepreneur through and through. I adore you. And it's scary, but that's like when you make those scary decisions, that's when big things happen. So for me, like I've had those pivotal decisions of me being in network marketing and wanting to start my own thing. And it's like being pulled by doing two things that are both taking your attention. And for me, I made that decision like you have to give up the good to go for the great.
Uh, Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. You have to go for it, because when you have a foot in both camps, you can just never be fully committed,
Totally. Totally. So talk to us, who do you serve and how do you really help them?
I serve the female entrepreneur, aspiring 6-figure female entrepreneur who is stressed out, checked out, burnt out. And I coach her to prioritize herself, really body, mind, and soul, so she can take her revenue to the next level. She can take her health to the next level. She can really take her whole life, like wherever she wants to take it. Because female entrepreneurs, we spend so much time, and it's not that I can't serve men, but I have a heart for women, because society tells us, not only are you supposed to be a mother and do this perfectly, but now if you're going to run a business, now you better do that perfectly too. And you better do it both. You better show up in both camps and be 100%. And so we just burn the candle at both ends all the time. And what we typically do is lay down our own self-care. And the women I coach, like, they're at the end of their rope. They've gained weight. They have no energy. They have brain fog. They're not present. They're never present. They're totally checked out because they're so burnt out. And so while their business may be moving or was moving in a direction that they were really excited about, all of a sudden now their confidence is dropping because of this brain fog, this weight, this stress that they just can't get a handle on. And it all goes back to their health. Like, there's no end game in our health. And when we lose focus of that and stop making ourselves a priority, as I know you have an amazing morning routine. I know you take care of yourself physically and mentally and spiritually. When we lose focus of that and think, I don't have time, all those things, then everything just starts to unravel, including our minds.
Totally. It's like you're speaking to the 2015 version of me when I was so into my network marketing company and I'd taken it. I was going for we were at the point. I just heard a car honk. What was that? Sorry. Okay, distracted. I'm fine. Okay, so I'd taken that to the 0.01% of the company and I was so burnt out. Like I gained 30 pounds and I was in a fitness company. I had adrenal fatigue and leaky gut. I was getting sick literally every single month. I got strep throat twice. I got the flu. I got pink eye. And I had a mobile child to take care of. TJ was almost a year at that point. And I remember just I physically remember doing this. Okay, I made a little barricade of couches and stuff so I could just lay on the couch and hopefully he wouldn't get out and run away. And I was like, mommy just needs to rest, dude. Just sit there. So I wish I would have found you back then and you could have helped me. But for someone that's in that situation, what do you do with them to help them get out of it so they can build a crazy successful business and really prioritize themselves too?
We really focus on, well, first of all, we focus on what goals they think they want. And then we get to the why underneath the why. And it's usually pretty deep under there. I want to lose weight. Why? So I can be happy. Okay, newsflash, all my amazing female entrepreneurs, losing weight is not where you'll find happiness.
True.
There's a journey there and there's something underneath there. Will you feel better in your skin if you lose weight? Yes, but you are going to take your mind with you. And so we work there as well. We really work on energy work, so much energy work, the energy that we get in food and food, how food can take energy away from us. We work on energy giving and taking away activities. We work on energy thoughts, like these thoughts that I'm having and how much energy they take. When a woman is unhappy with the way that she looks or with the stress level that she's at. She plays those stories over and over in her head.
Yep.
The energy that it takes to stay focused on the BS story that you're telling yourself is the same energy that it takes to get focused on the new goal, on the new story, on the things that are taking you in the direction of the life that you want. And we tend to stick in those false stories or the stories that were true once, but they don't serve us anymore. And it's time to lay them down and write a new story. And so I just coach them through energy, energy, energy all the time so that they increase their productivity, they reduce their stress, because what we focus on grows. And what I tell my clients all the time, what we talk about all the time, you are the thinker of your thoughts. If your thought isn't a good thought, think a new one, because you literally create the thought and you create your reality from it. Whatever we focus on grows, and the game, we're always winning the game that we're playing. So if you continually focus on how stressed out you are and how you can't close a client call and how much you don't like your body, how much you hate your thighs and you have no energy, guess what? You win all those games. You continue to hate your thighs, you continue to have no energy, you continue to not attract your ideal client because of the energy that you're putting out, and you continue to stay stressed until we start changing that story, body, mind, and soul.
Huge. Okay. I love that you mentioned food, because I think this is such a huge thing that most people don't understand how much of an effect food has on your energy level and just like your overall everything. And so this is something I've been trying to teach my dad and being like, all right, you need to understand this. Like, the food you eat actually becomes your cells. And if you want to fight off disease as you're aging, you need to really start taking care of yourself and the food that you're putting in your body. So can you just share a little bit of how you would help somebody
Yes.
really take control of their own nutrition?
So the first thing that we do is really get curious. And that I love that about being a coach is we lay judgment down and we pick up curiosity, and we get real curious about why we make the food choices that we make and when we make them and how we feel when we make them. And we just look at what's my go-to, who am I being when I'm diving into the bag of Oreos? Am I being the six-figure female entrepreneur that I want to be? No, I'm not. Because a six-figure female entrepreneur does not dive into a bag of Oreos to relieve her stress, or, and if she does it, it doesn't sustain her very long, because that's just speaking to something else that needs to happen. If I'm diving into Oreos, I am not nourishing something else. I'm not taking care of something else. Food either gives us energy or it takes it away. So I'm not dissing on Oreos. However, sugar and refined sugar and all those processed foods keep us in that state of craving, keep us in that state of brain fog, keep us in that state of blood sugar roller coaster exhaustion. They just fight us at every turn. And it's very hard to win that fight when we're continuing to try to nourish our bodies with things that aren't whole food and real food.
So
Does
how
that make
should
sense?
we, yeah, totally. How should we eat? Like, can you give an example of some foods that we should eat or daily, like just habits or something
Yeah.
to
So,
increase energy and get rid of brain fog? Because I think
so the
those are the things.
first thing that you want to do is really see how you feel when you eat something. So again, food either gives you energy or it takes it away. And what you want to do is, after you get up from a meal, you want to feel like you could go for a walk or go to work or I need to take a nap. So if you're eating a meal and you need to take a nap, it's time to look at what you're eating. Like what was in there that was so heavy that it didn't give you any energy? Because we're all so different. I could tell you, eat XYZ, but you're different than me and your body process is different than I do.
Yeah.
Typically refined sugars, pastas, things like that, we like to find other alternatives for. So, if you're a pasta junkie, we look at black bean pasta or, pasta made from something else besides
Zucchini
gluten and
noodles.
sugar. Yeah, exactly. And we start moving the needle, we start making those switches. So it's really about being a detective in your own body and tuning into your body. How do I feel when I eat this? Well, I feel exhausted. I feel sluggish. I feel and then it's about, okay, well, so I'm going to cut that out, and then I'll see if I can reintroduce it, but how does it make me feel? And so for most people, like, they're not eating for energy. And you can have fun and love food and still eat for energy. So if you're not balancing, I call it a magic plate. So, have the pasta if that's what you really, really want, but also have some great green vegetables with it and a really great protein like shrimp, a great lean protein, and, balance that plate out so that you're not so heavy in the sugar and the things that spike your insulin and just keep you fat and not able to lose weight and brain fogged. It's sugar, 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 sugar. I know people don't want to hear that, but it's the truth. Like, sugar is not a food. And so I don't feel bad saying, because I never say food is bad or good. Food is high nutrient or it's low nutrient. Yep. Gives you energy or it takes it away. I like a pizza just like everybody else. You know what I mean? But that's not my highest energy food.
Yeah.
I know when I have that, I make some choices with that. But sugar is just like, sugar is our enemy. Like it just takes us down. There's just no pluses from refined white sugar at all.
For sure. And
as an entrepreneur.
Totally. And I think a lot of times people are thinking, well, I have to cut this out and I'll be so deprived. Like at our Activate retreat, I brought those keto cups. And those are like so good. It's like a chocolate deliciousness with coconut oil. Like there's ways that you can get healthy foods that are good for you and are high energy that taste really good too, if you're open to just finding it and looking around a little bit.
Well, and I love that you brought that up, because another piece that I teach all my clients is be, do, have. So if I'm going to be a 6-figure or a 7-figure female entrepreneur, I'm going to do the things that she would do. I'm going to say what she would say. I'm going to eat like she would eat. I'm going to, all of those things. And then I will have a 6-figure business. It's not backwards. It's not when I have a 6-figure big business, then I'll take care of myself. Then I'll move the needle. Then I'll switch to, keto cups for a treat instead of a bag of Oreos. Then I'll do these things. No, like it's deciding now that this is who I am. It's done. And now I need to be that person. And what does she look like? Well, she moves the needle. She decides that I can have a sweet treat, but stay in alignment with my goals. She shows up for herself first. Very self-integral. I mean, I think that's the one habit or trait that every female entrepreneur needs to have to be unstoppable. When you say, I'm going to work out, you work out. Like, you show up for yourself. Because if you can't show up for you, you know what I mean? Like,
totally. I think this is huge. And I think that's actually a really good activity for listeners to just do, like, take this and take action on it. So like, be, do, have, who do you need to be? And just journal this out. Like, if you want to have that successful business, who do you need to become? What are those traits, those characteristics that you need to have? And actually start freaking doing that. Like, this is so important. And if you look at any of the successful entrepreneurs, like the people that I look up to, they are all in really good shape. They are all really taking care of themselves. And I think something that really stuck out to me, Gary Vaynerchuk actually hired a full-time, like, in-house personal trainer and nutritionist to come, like, follow him everywhere. And he was literally just paying someone to go on the road with him to make sure that he worked out and stayed accountable to that. And he's in awesome shape now. And he was
right.
And just like as he was explaining that, of I need to make sure I take care of myself if I want to be here and do the best that I could do, And that really stuck out to me, as these people really understand the power of energy and how their exercise, their nutrition, and everything really does affect that, which in turn affects their businesses.
Yeah, because how can you show up at the highest level, at the highest version of yourself, if you're living on coffee and 3 hours of sleep?
Right.
You can't. For a little bit. I mean, we can all sustain that for a little bit, but that is not, it's just like a diet. That's not a long-term thing. So you don't, diets you go on and off of, and that's why they don't work. You know what I mean? Because they're not sustainable. You can't put them into your life. But when you start tuning into your body and showing up for yourself in that way and creating energy with your thoughts and your actions and the food you eat and your words, like you're unstoppable that way. Literally, our brains are so powerful that we can create the state, like Tony Robbins says, right? We create that be, do, have. We visualize it and see it. I'm a six-figure female entrepreneur. These are the things that I do. Now, when I want to be a seven-figure female entrepreneur, I need to show up as her. She's different. She makes different choices. She makes higher choices.
Yep.
You know, we're constantly moving towards that. I can't get there from here. I need to already be her in my mind and make those shifts. Just like every time you up level in your business, Rachel, you've made decisions that have required you. So when you went from when you first started out to now, Facebook ads and people who take care of things for you and the money that you've invested has gone up and up and up.
Yep.
Because and your business has gone up and up and up.
Yep.
You've every time that level has changed who you are being. Am I right? Like the woman that you're being. And what do you have? You have an amazing freaking business that just keeps growing and expanding.
Yep.
It's because you're showing up as that woman already. You're already showing up as the multiple 6 and 7 figure female entrepreneur before you can see her on paper. You're already her.
Totally. And I think also with that, that's really important for me to acknowledge that I have a coach that's actually helping me with this stuff. She's like, she'll call me out on something like, I was like, we're planning on spending X amount of money on Facebook ads. I'm a little nervous. And she called me out. I'm like, why are you nervous? What's happening? Like, and all these things of who am I being? Like to get to that next level. And so I want to acknowledge that it's not all me that's making those shifts. I have someone who has the business that I aspire to have, and she's helping me work on those mindset shifts that I still have so I can get to the next level, because I acknowledge that I am not perfect. And if I want to get somewhere, I need to find someone who has that and get their mentorship and model after them.
Exactly. Everyone needs a coach, more than one, business coach. I have a fitness coach. Coaches get you where you want to go much faster. They know the way. And when you take a detour because life happens, your coach gets you back on track.
Okay, so this is huge though, what you just said, that you have a fitness coach. So
yes.
You're coaching people on health, but you still have a fitness coach. Can you explain that? Because that, to me, when you said that, I was like, what? Like, you are in such good shape, yet you have a fitness coach. So, oh my goodness, look at your biceps. Crazy. Okay, talk to us about this.
Yeah, it's my fitness coach. I actually had a fitness coach before I decided to be a coach myself. She inspired me. I was so inspired. She's someone that I've known for years. She's young enough to be my child, and she inspired me. The way she transformed herself, her holistic approach. I'm like, this is exactly like how she serves is how I want to serve, in a different way, of course, but you know what I mean? Like, she was really an inspiration for me. And we never stop learning. And so she is constantly teaching me because she never stops learning. Yeah. And so when you want to get somewhere, right, a coach gets you there faster. I could Google and I could spend a million hours trying to, do it yourself kind of garbage. That is tiresome. And I could find all the free stuff. I'm going to pay a coach and I am going to have it on the money. Like, it's a proven technique. It's going to work. She's going to take me to where I want to go when I show up. That's the thing.
What you just said is huge. And that's why you are successful and you're going to continue to be successful, because you're not looking for like the shortcuts of trying to figure it out on your own, which will take you 10 years to just, like, it'll take you so much longer. Literally, I mean, Tony Robbins, obviously, we're like obsessed with him. He just talks about like, that one strategy, if you find that mentor, will compress decades of learning into days. And
it's huge.
You pay for access, but like, it's worth it. So like, I paid a Tony Robbins coach to work with me for an entire year. And those shifts that I had was like massive,
Yes.
And
yes.
it's those things, when you invest, you get it back like 10 times over, 100 times over.
And the mindset, so the words that you just use, when you invest, because okay, we're all in business and we all think, return on income, what's our ROI kind of a thing. Well, when you invest in yourself, it's you. How are you showing up? Who are you being? Are you thinking of this as an investment, or are you thinking of it as spending money? Because spending money is very different than investing, right? There's still risk in investment, period. But it's on you. When you just spend money, like, that's it. You just spent it and it's gone. There's that you might spend it on a meal. You might spend it on a new outfit that eventually is going to wear out, right? The meal, you're going to eat it. It's going to be done, right? The outfit's going to wear out, or it's going to go out of style. You're going to be like, well, I don't know what I was thinking when I bought that, right? Yeah. But when you invest in yourself, when you hire a business coach, when you hire a team of people, when you hire a fitness coach, that's like a never ending. You're constantly getting a return on that. Again, when you show up. My clients that show up for themselves have immeasurable success, because, we can measure weight, but measuring self-confidence is very difficult. Those types of things, a lot of the pieces that I do sometimes can be a difficult measure, because they're just up-leveling everywhere. They're up-leveling in their relationships when they start showing up for themselves. They're up-leveling in their communication. They're up-leveling in how they appear on a live or a podcast, like their energy and their thoughts, the way they think, and so making those tangible. Sometimes I'm still working on that, like how to make those tangible for other people, because, we can see body results, but internal things are a little more difficult to see. So I get my clients to tell me so that I can share those words so that it can connect with other people.
And I think, to add on to what you were saying, it's also like, people think about spending money on healthy food because healthy food is so expensive. If you make that switch of, I'm investing in my health instead of I'm spending so much money on healthy food, like, that in itself is a huge mindset shift that I think a lot of people need to have, of what's more. Like, I was literally talking to my mom, is they got, like, I think it's Home Chef delivery service, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, is this stuff organic? Is it grass fed? Is it like wild caught? And I think she was saying, I'm not sure. I think they have a more expensive option that'll do that. Like, you can get that. I'm like, why wouldn't you spend a little more and invest in your health to get that premium quality food that you can put back into your body?
And you can either invest now and be proactive in what you're putting into your body, or you can pay astronomical medical bills. You will pay one way or the other for your health. Do you want to be proactive and pay for your health in a way that sustains you and gives you longevity and energy and just, feeling as amazing as you can? Or do you want to pay for pills and doctors and hospitals and treatment and all kinds of stuff like that? It's up to you. You're going to pay one way or the other, right?
Well, feel good for years and years, instead of feeling like crap.
Yes. And it's no more expensive. Whole food, whole real food, when you really break it down, because you stay full longer. You don't do the blood sugar roller coaster. You don't snack ridiculously, chips and candy. And please, everyone hear me. I eat chips and I'll have a candy bar. Like, I'm not saying that those foods are the devil, just saying they're not in my regular rotation because they don't give me energy. You know what I mean? And when you continually eat those types of foods, you continually eat them. You crave them. Your body gets in a pattern for that. The manufacturers make them that way. It just is what it is, unfortunately. We have to be really proactive and detectives about those kinds of things. And we're worth it. Our bodies are worth it. Think about how we show up in our relationships when we feel good in our body, when we have energy, when we feel strong, how we show up everywhere. The energy that radiates off of us when we're out in public,
It's huge. Do you have any specific routines or habits that help you maintain high energy levels?
Honestly, meditation, prayer, visualization, like kind of the triple threat together. And I shared with you before we started, I was visualizing this and how it was going to look and who it was going to serve. And and there was just this golden light around us, and God was present, and he was using the questions and the answers to really reach right to the heart of those women that need to hear this. And so I was be-do having, I mean, I walk the walk too. So I think those are huge in energy, like your brain, because it all starts there. I mean, literally our thoughts create our emotions, they create our reality. They just create our entire world. And so when we're thinking to an energy giving, an energy building place, like visualization, like prayer, meditation, those types of things, then our energy automatically is lifted there. And so that's really huge for me. I drink a ton of water. I'm ridiculous about water. Like, it's so important.
I always have water with
Yeah.
me. Always.
It's so important. I'll talk to my clients about it too. Like, first thing in the morning, big tall glass of even warm water with lemon and shot of apple cider vinegar or a little Himalaya salt. It's really good for your digestion. It's really good for your skin. Gets everything moving in your tummy. Like, it really starts you out hydrated. Like, we're made of like 70% water. And so and we don't recreate, our body can't create it. It can only use what we put into it.
Yep.
And so if we're not putting any water into it, think about your brain. Think about a sponge that's nice and wet, and when it dries out.
Yeah.
That's what's happening inside when we don't hydrate.
Yeah.
So how could your brain be at its top level as a female entrepreneur? You want to be sharp and on, right? How can you be sharp and on if you're not giving your brain the food that it needs? And one of those foods is water, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, just getting in the habit of having a water bottle with you at all times. I know that's something that I've been doing for years. And in France, people thought I was so weird. They don't drink water like Americans do. Like, they really don't. We have a friend who, he's a doctor, and we met for wine at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And he was sharing, he didn't have any water that entire day. Like, he literally had coffee in the morning and then wine. And I'm like, and you're a doctor. But that's like so normal in France. Total sidetrack. But like, I was just like the weird American having water with me at all times. Like, yeah.
Well, I love that you brought up getting into the habit, because that's the other thing, that happens in coaching. Our habits, we talk about habits and creating habits. So there's macro habits, which is the big habit, but there's micro habits, and those are the supporting habits. So you've got your star and you've got the supporting cast. And so if the star is water, like drinking more water for energy, for productivity, for hydration, if that's what my macro habit, then my micro habits that build up to that are being sure that I have a water bottle with me at all times, and even like making it a fun water bottle, a fun mug. Yeah. If I go to an office, if I go to work, making sure that I have a backup at work that makes me happy to drink out of it. Like, every time I look at it, I am happy that I am nourishing my body. And that's just a brain thing, because your brain wants habits that are fun. Yeah. It doesn't want these like, oh, gotta drink water. Okay, so if you're not a fan of water, what can you do to start to like water and then love water? Yeah. Number one, you can put like lime in it, or mint, or cayenne, or ginger, like something to make it fun. Yeah. You can have it in a fun way, and you can start doing affirmations with it. This is, I am a 6-figure female entrepreneur who stays hydrated. Like, okay, be her, right? I mean, you just start telling, your brain doesn't know the difference between fact or fiction, which is why we go into stress states and why we lie to ourselves and why people have body dysmorphia, like all those things, because our brain doesn't know the difference. So if I tell my brain, I am a woman who drinks water and I love it, I will start drinking water and loving it. Yep. Period. I mean, I got to get there. I know Lindsay Nadler, she talks about when you do affirmations, start at a neutral place. Okay, so if I don't love water now, I am a woman who could love water. Yeah. I am a 6-figure female entrepreneur who could stay hydrated every day. Like, I am capable. And so then it's getting there, it's moving the needle and getting there.
Amazing. What's the best book you've read?
I love this question and I hate this question because I've read so many. It's so difficult. So I have, my answer is more than just one. I can't just do one.
Which is
The Prosperous Coach is an amazing book for coaches, like a fantastic book. So any coach listening to this, and I have clients who are coaches, like The Prosperous Coach is amazing. I just love, it's just matter of fact in a lot of ways and things that you can implement right away. Lets you off the hook for feeling like you have to serve everyone. It's just really cool. A book that I'm reading right now is called Do Less, and it's by Kate Northrup. And it is just for women, really. And I think it's going to be revolutionary. So I think this could become one of my favorite books, how we don't have to hustle 24/7 for our entire lives, and how we can't sustain that anyway. And we're made differently, women, like than men. So men work great on a 24-hour clock. We work differently than that. And so it's fantastic. Those are two books that I'm adoring. Do Less, I'm reading that right now, along with a stack of books about this big, because my coach assigns all kinds of books to read. And so I'm trying to get through them. I am getting through them, but you know what I mean? Like, and then I have just books that I want to read all the time, but Prosperous Coach and Do Less by Kate Northrup. And I would have never heard of Kate Northrup. So I have to give a nod to James Wedmore, who does a podcast that blows my mind and feeds my soul. And I'm a complete convert. And I do, James teaches that, and I latched right onto it, and it has literally changed my life. So I would not have heard of Kate without her being on his podcast.
That's what he does have an amazing podcast. So definitely check out James Wedmore. We're giving you a shout out right now.
Yes. Also visualizing being a guest on his podcast one day.
Oh, it's going to happen.
Yes. Amen. I believe it.
What does it mean to you to make an impact?
Give people their lives back. Women, we get so caught up in society's roles for us and what the norm is, and entrepreneurs aren't normal anyway, like that. We're wired different if we're truly an entrepreneur. And so really just guiding them to take that power back, because they are so powerful already, but they're conditioned to think they have to trade it. It has to be a one or the other. When they can hold both truths, you can have it all. You don't need it all. And so we get caught up in that. I want it, I want it all, but we're confused on what all should look like. Mm-hmm. And so I love being able to make an impact that way, that having them just look into themselves and make these amazing self-discoveries of why I think this way, why I do this, and who am I showing up for when I do these things, and making giant leaps in their lives.
I love it. Well, what's next for you?
The sky's the limit, right? It's limitless. I am launching a group coaching program. I'm super excited about just being able to reach more women at one time, and then they can have that awesome community too, to support each other. And so I do one-on-one private coaching. That's really my heart, but I want to be able to touch more lives. And I know you totally get that. Like at one time, there's only so many hours in the day, right? And so that is really next on the horizon. It's put together. It's just launching it and talking to people about it, and getting the messaging right, so that all those right people are looking at it. So group coaching, I'm going to do a 30-day group, like a 30-day Facebook group for one level. And then if you want to VIP that, it's going to be 5 to 8 women in a 6 month to a year program with me, just really digging in. And again, being able to support each other in community, because that's amazing too, to be able to lean on, to have the accountability of a coach. And then also those other women in your group who are, doing the same thing that you are.
Yep. Very, very cool. Exciting. Well, where can we connect with you?
MindiHuebner.com. And I know you'll put it in the show notes. You can find me at MindiHuebner.com, and right there you can grab my freebie, which is a simple 5-step checklist on how to double your energy right now. Because that's what it's all about, right? Energy. Creating it, having it, giving it to other people, being able to have enough to build our empires and rule the world.
Yes. Oh my goodness. It has been such a joy working with you and seeing you just grow. It's been so much fun. And like you said, the sky's the limit. And I can't wait to see where you're going to be a year from now, 2 years from now, and all the lives that you'll touch. So thank you for being
Thank
here,
you.
for showing up, for doing everything that you do and really making an impact.
Thank you. Thank you. I thank you for having me here and being an amazing coach. This is just so great to be able to share with all of your listeners too under your mentorship. So thank you.